Franchise tag updates coming at you here on NFL Daily, presented by Panda Sups. If you're trying to get back into shape or if you want some high-quality vitamins, you can get all of that at pandasups.com. But make sure you use promo code CHAT to save yourself 30%. All right, Tom, Dak Prescott, he's the first guy up here.
The updates are that the Cowboys don't have a planned talk scheduled with Dak Prescott, which means they're at least going to allow this to go right up to the deadline. I think they have to find a way to at least try to get the deal done. I know they're worried about the cap implications, but the franchise tag cost is set next year. The Cowboys failing to get a deal done with Dak Prescott, as it has been for months now, would be a short-sighted mistake and a disaster for this organization. The issue is the Cowboys want 5 years. The Dak wants 4 years. This is legitimately the equivalent of having the entire wedding planned, and then you get to the day of the ceremony, and you can't figure out what order you want the damn groomsmen to be in or how many groomsmen you want because someone else had to bail last second. Like, just figure it out. You're arguing over a year, and if the Cowboys say, you know what, we were committed to 5 years, instead of getting 4, you got 1 or 2. How is that better for you?
Not sure.
I don't understand it. So it should get done. We'll see on Wednesday.
We'll see. Y for yes, N for no. If you're a Cowboys fan, go subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Let's go to probably the next biggest name here on the list. It's Chris Jones. And what's the latest around Chris Jones and the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, this is a smart run organization. They have restarted talks with Chris Jones per the latest updates and reports from ESPN that, look, we know Jones threatening to hold out right now, doesn't want to get paid less than $20 million per year. I get that. Hasn't yet signed his franchise tag tender, so he could hold out if needed. Mahomes' early contract doesn't drastically impact the Chiefs' cap room. They can afford Jones if they want to. I think of the players due for extensions,
he's got to be it.
These two, Jones and Dak, are the two most likely to actually get done.
So if you're a Chiefs fan, go check out our Chiefs channel. That one's at youtube.com/ChiefsTV. All right, we're going to continue to roll the show here around the latest NFL franchise tag news. Derrick Henry, the rushing leader from last season, over 1,540 yards.
Pretty quiet around Derrick Henry, and of course there are times when deals get done in quiet, i.e. Patrick Mahomes. There was nothing around that till boom, all of a sudden the deal's done. So for Henry, I still wonder if this is going to be a franchise tag scenario for Tennessee. If they're just going to be like, you know what, let's see what happens. We don't want to invest big-time money in a running back, and maybe Henry plays on the tag this year.
Yeah, maybe, but $10.3 million, is he worth it? Well, should the Titans pay Derrick Henry?
Because he's going to want 15 or more.
Oh, I understand his idea of wanting to get paid.
It's what he should be asking for. Yeah, I get
that. But
that.
you and I are also on the same precedent where I'm not going to pay an NFL running back that much. Like, I'm sorry, I won't. The only player where I was okay with it was Christian McCaffrey because of the different ways he was able to impact the game. So 1 for yes or type 2 for no. A very common player here on NFL Daily has been Yannick Ngakoue, and the latest around him, and there's been a lot of different moving parts, but he has made one thing clear. I want out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, he has not signed his tender, just like how Chris Jones not yet signed his tender, which allows them to hold out because they're not actually under contract, so there wouldn't be any penalties from those organizations. They wouldn't be able to fine them. They're not technically, they don't have a contract at this point. So yeah. Yannick desperately wants out. He's gone so far as to tweet at the Jags owner's son. The owner's son was like, yeah, give me a better offer, and we'll see what happens there. I still think the Jags should try and find a way to trade Yannick. Just get what you can. Because you got to think from an organizational perspective, too. All that's happening is the asset has depreciated in value. I'd say trade him while you can.
So what do y'all think? What should the Jags do with Yannick Ngakoue? Do you pay him, type P, or do you trade him, type T? I think you trade him, but if the other issue is if you were going to trade him, you should have done it 3 months ago. Because every single day, I think at this point, his value continues to go down and down and down.
No, I agree.
Yeah, keep it going. All right, Jags, Yannick Ngakoue, P for pay or T for trade. One of my favorite players in the National Football League, it's Justin Simmons, and one of the best young safeties in the NFL. I probably should have read that first note.
Yeah, he's one of the better players that you might not have heard of. Now, the franchise tag cost for a safety $11.4 million. It's an expensive amount of money, but the safety market is actually not that bad in terms of the franchise tag cost. So I like this idea for Denver. I like this idea for the Broncos to get a long-term deal done. He has immense value. He's an awesome safety. My expectation is that this deadline is going to go right up to the deadline. They'll try and get a long-term deal done. We'll see if it happens. I think Denver, though, would be very, very smart to pay Justin Simmons and get that long-term deal locked up. Now, as mentioned, today's show is brought to you by Panda Sups. Now, Mitch, you've been working with these guys on our Raiders Report channel. Oh, yeah. You like them so much, we're bringing them over here to our NFL channel. Why don't you tell me about at least one of their products?
I mean, if you're out there, I don't know about y'all, quarantine really kind of kicked my butt, and these guys really helped me get back into shape. But one of the products that I absolutely love is this sleep aid here. And why is this important? Sleep, guess what? It is very, very important. So whether you're trying to build muscle, sleep really helps you do that. But this product here, I don't know about you, I stay up on my phone late at night, and I'm scrolling on Twitter, I'm scrolling on Instagram. You take a scoop of this stuff, donezo, you're out. It's also going to help you relax. It's going to improve your mood because guess what? When you're in a better mood, you sleep better. So if you need to sleep a little bit better, here's the product to help you do that. PandaSups.com, but remember to use code CHAT at checkout to save 30%. And also, this company, very, very high-quality stuff. I've used Z-Quil in the past, not very good. This is going to help you not be groggy.
Sounds like I'm going to get my wife on it then. Not from the mood perspective. Honey, I love you. But she does not sleep well. This could be right up her alley.
PandaSups.com. Use code CHAT to save 30% off. One player that, well, maybe has been sleeping because he hasn't been playing much. I know he's been injured. It's A.J. Green, a player that I absolutely love. What should happen here with the Bengals? That's still a mystery.
I think the likely outcome here is that A.J. Green plays on the tag this year. I think the Bengals have now come close to offering A.J. Green anything remotely $18 million per year. Green has not yet signed his tender. Now, he said he's not going to hold out, but he hasn't signed the tender as of this point, although maybe skipping camp would be a good thing for him because, that's like how he got hurt in the first place. So I think a tag is likely here. That's not the path I would have gone. I would have paid A.J. Green and simply made him their Larry Fitzgerald. I think that would have been the best path in the end.
So what should the Cincinnati Bengals do with A.J. Green? Type A for pay, type B for tag. This is such a tough one because A.J. Green to me is kind of the Larry Fitzgerald of the Arizona Cardinals, where I really hope that he stays with that team his entire career. However, I'm trying to win football games. I can't justify paying Green $18 million because of the injuries. If you could promise me he's going to give me 14-plus games, I would do it in a heartbeat. But you can't do that. A for pay, B for tag. Let's take another deep dive here into Shaq Barrett because this one is pretty interesting because linebacker, defensive end, he wants to get paid more, and I don't blame him.
It's not that hard. And look, Barrett's an awesome player. I don't think they're going to get a long-term deal done. This is simple. Designate pass rushers and off-ball linebackers, and this damn problem goes away. Shaq Barrett is a pass rusher.
Correct.
He should be getting paid the $17.8 million price tag. He doesn't drift into coverage. He's not a linebacker in the way that Bobby Wagner is a linebacker. So what you might see happen is they agree to split the difference and just go $16.8 million, but I don't think a long-term deal gets done here for Barrett at all.
Let's look here at the linebacking position. Matt Judon, $15.8 million.
Also an edge rusher. Judon, though, appears to be okay with the price tag. And there were early trade rumors around him. Those have kind of disappeared. I think you're going to see him play on the tag. I also think the exact same thing ends up happening here to Bud Dupree, who is also in the midst, by the way, of a dispute just like Shaq Barrett over the price tag, 15.8 versus 7.8. He's finally coming off a breakout year. I feel pretty confident saying all three of these guys are not going to get long-term deal done. Maybe something surprised me. I certainly would like that, but I don't think that's the likely outcome here.
I mean, Shaq Barrett, Matt Judon, Bud Dupree, all three of these players had very, very good seasons last year, but, I mean, we were going to ask the question, right? Who's the best out of them all? So type SB for Shaq Barrett, MJ for Matt Judon, or BD for Bud Dupree. If we were to rank these players, I would have them ranked the way that you see them on screen.
That was just kind of, actually it was kind of on purpose there on that one. The fun part for me is that I get to claim victory on Shaq Barrett. Because if you've watched our shows, you guys know how high I was on Shaq Barrett. Then he went out and exploded by a significant margin. Yeah, like way beyond what I thought.
19.5 sacks. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. Hunter Henry next up here for the Los Angeles Chargers, and unlike some of these other players, Hunter Henry's been very clear. He's okay playing underneath the tag.
And look, this is like the most obvious, yeah, he's going to play on the tag. For starters, from the Chargers' perspective, Henry's always hurt.
Yes.
You got to see him stay healthy for a season. And then from Henry's perspective, like, he's the highest paid tight end in the NFL, which is a weird quirk for the way the salary, the franchise tag ended up working out for Henry, but he's making more than Austin Hooper. Are the Chargers going to pay him $10.6 per year?
Nope.
No. Henry, I'm going to play on the tag and be happy about it.
Yeah, I don't
Not that hard.
Let's talk about Anthony Harris here on NFL Daily. We're giving you the latest around the NFL franchise tag players. So Harris, one of the best safeties in the league. There were early trade rumors around him, but now not so much.
Not a lot of updates in terms of where things are at on his contract talks. When he initially announced he was going to sign the tender, he said they were going to try and get a long-term deal done. I think Minnesota might be a little bit hesitant about paying Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris that amount of money. Harris coming off a great year, though, Mitch.
Oh, absolutely great year. And I think when you talked about some of the top free agents out there, we had Anthony Harris as one of the top players. And I think really since he's stepped in to that new role for the Vikings back in the middle of 2018, he's really transcended himself as one of the top young safeties in the National Football League. And for all y'all out there that are big Viking fans, please go subscribe to our Vikings channel. It is youtube.com, chatsports.com/VikingsTV.
Now, as mentioned, today's show brought to you by Panda Subs. Mitch told us earlier about the sleep aid. That's not all they have, though.
Not all they have. They have a lot of other awesome products. And I don't know about you, if you hit like that crash, maybe like 3 o'clock on your work
What if you're addicted to caffeine?
If you're addicted
Asking
to caffeine,
for a friend.
Me. If you love a cup of coffee, if you like energy drinks as well, Nootropics is actually a healthier way to make sure that you're focused, okay? So the reason why Nootropics are just like this transcending, I guess, product, if you will, if you're falling asleep at work, this is going to help you lock in. But it's not only just for that, it's also going to help your memory. So if you're a student out there trying to study for a test, it's also going to help you do that. And yes, it does give you energy.
Will it make you more productive in the office?
100%.
Consume more of it, please.
Oh, okay, I will do better. I will consume more Nootropics. You guys should get it too at pandasubs.com, but use code CHAT at checkout. Let's talk about Joe THUNEY here for the New England Patriots, and this is another player where I think he's going to be more than happy playing underneath the tag.
Yeah, $14.8 million. As we'll get into here in just a second, there are some unique quirks when it comes to the guard contracts around the NFL. THUNEY's going to make more this year than he would make per year on a long-term deal, so he doesn't have much interest in adjusting that. And then in most cases, the guard franchise tags are the same. Not the case, though, for the other guard out there of the Washington football team. Brandon Scherff is actually going to make a little over $15 million.
Yep.
Quick explanation why here. So most years, in almost all cases, the franchise tag is the average of the top 5 salaries at a given position for a player as of like April, the date of applied. But there's an or in there. It's or 120% of the player's previous year's salary, whichever is greater. Okay. Now, in like 98% of the cases, it's the average of the 5 highest paid salaries. Not the case, though, for Brandon Scherff with the way that his early round draft, his top 5 pick, ends up working out. He actually makes 15 in this case. So Scherff makes more than Joe THUNEY than on the franchise, despite both being franchise tagged. And those numbers being above the guard numbers, probably why you're not going to see deals get done, because the franchise tag accounts for offensive tackles too.
Leonard Williams next up here for the New York Football Giants.
They're going to let him play on the tag. Like that is set in stone. I don't understand what the Giants are doing here. They're going to pay Williams $16 million when he has not been the same guy since 2016. He has not been impactful.
Dave Gettleman.
He wasn't even good for the Giants this past year. He was fine.
Yeah.
They gave a third-round pick for him. They are committed to him. He's going to play the year out on the tag, and then we'll see what happens. It was a weird trade at the time. Still does not make much sense to me, plain and simple.
If you're a Cardinals fan, hit that subscribe button, chatsports.com/Cardinals TV for the latest news and rumors around your team. So Kenyon Drake here is the player that we're going to talk about for NFL franchise tag updates. Well, he was actually transition tagged.
I'm including him. It's not really a franchise tag, but it's the same deadline here. Drake's going to be the starter. 8.5 is going to be his cost. Now, with the transition tag, it allowed a team to sign Drake if they sent the Cardinals 2 first-round picks. Guess what's not happening? Yep, no one's giving him 2 first-round picks for Kenyon Drake. So he'll be back with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if it's going to if there's going to be a long-term deal, my guess is no.
Yep.
I think they'll just let Drake play out and then figure things out afterwards. But if he plays like this again, I think he's going to be a good player. And I think that $8 million will be fine. Like, that's about what Melvin Gordon's making. I think I might rather have Kenyon Drake. Not what I would have said a year ago. I promise you that.
So over or under 2.5 extensions before the deadline. Type O for over, or we want you to type U for under. So how many do you think, Tom? O for over, U for under.
I'm going to go with 2. I don't know how much things will end up being here. So I'm going to go under, and I'll go 2.